Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to be doing a story time video. I've never done one of these on my channel before. I will usually do like questions and answers or real talk with Kym's, but this one I figured you guys would definitely be interested in hearing because I touched slightly on it a few years ago, but I never really told like the whole story. And I just finished watching Trinity's video, and I'll link it below, and it was about her college horror roommate story. And I figured I'd give you guys my story on what happened with well, she wasn't technically like my roommate, she was more like my suite mate. So I figured I'd give you guys like my horror story, and if you guys are interested in hearing it, then definitely keep on watching. Okay, so rewinding back to 2007, I was a freshman at Liberty University. I actually graduated from that college, and it is a Christian university. So that is something you guys are definitely gonna need to know because there are different things compared to like a regular university. So yeah, I was a freshman there, and basically, let me paint this picture. Okay, so there are three types of dorms when I lived there. There was like the circle, and that was kind of considered like the ghetto. Like, you weren't ghetto if you lived there, but it was just like you were definitely at the bottom of the like pole if you lived there because it was the cheapest dorms. It was just really run down. They were the oldest as well. So the circle wasn't like something to boast about where you lived. At least I felt like, or it seemed like a lot of people really felt that way. Then there was the hill, and the hill was kind of between, like, it was considered like middle class. So if you were on the hill, they were kind of better than the circle in a way, and it was also really more convenient. So if you lived in the hill, you had the dining hall, you had the places where you mainly went to class like right there, so it was a lot like easier to get to places. So that was definitely like more, it was much better than the circle. Then they had, and I'm going to make sure to try to put pictures for each of these because you kind of need to visualize it to know what I'm talking about. So then after the hill, after the circle and the hill, they had East Campus. Now, East Campus back then was really like the elite. Like, if you lived in East Campus, most of the people who lived in East Campus, they not only had cars, they had like the best cars. They had like, I remember this one guy who lived there, he had like the 2007 or 2008 Mustang, and everybody really, like, he was cute. But yeah, so everybody had like the best car. So if you lived there, more than likely your family had money, or you were like an athlete and you got special privileges to like live there because it went to your scholarship or things like that. So it was definitely like a place where everyone wanted to go because, okay, so the circle, they had it where it was like 3 people to a room and you had to share bathrooms, kind of really dorm style. The hill was the same way, but it was like, it was a better than the circle. And then the East Campus was where it was 2 people to a room. You had your own bathroom between you and your roommate. You had a walk-in closet. You had, so inside, it was like apartment style with the East Campus. So you had the living room, the kitchen, and then 3 bedrooms. And in 3 bedrooms, there was 2 roommates to each bedroom. And then on top of it, with East Campus, you actually had your own washer and dryer inside of the apartment. And the hill and the circle did not have that. You had to take your laundry to get it done, and the circle you would really have to walk. More than likely you were walking like far to do your laundry. And I remember the hill was like right there in the middle of the buildings, but the East Campus, it was literally right inside, outside of your room. So it was so much better, and everyone loved that. So anyways, freshman year, I went to fill out where I wanted to stay. I knew I didn't want to stay in the circles because I already visited there and it just looked really run down and ghetto. So I decided I wanted to stay on the hill because the hill was actually more affordable, and on top of it, circle was just too, like, I wanted more of the college experience. I didn't want to stay where it was just me and one other person. I wanted to get the college experience. I wanted the hill because it looked better. But at the same time, I didn't want to stay at East Campus because it was just too uppity and too expensive. But when I went to fill out the hill, they told me that I had been moved and upgraded to East Campus because everything in the hill and everything in the circle was already taken. So I was just like, okay, well, great. At least it's like, if I'm gonna stay at the East Campus, it was the same price as the hill. So I was like, well, you know, I'll try it out anyways. I had no choice, so I'll try it out for the year and it should be fine. So when I went to move in, I remember meeting everyone and it was really cool. I actually met one of my best friends who I'm still best friends with living today. She lived one floor below me, and it was really, really nice. If I have pictures, I'll probably put it in so you guys can see. But I had a roommate. She was really sweet. We're still friends on Facebook. I don't really talk to her too much, but she was a really nice girl. So when I moved in, I was in room C, and room C was really nice. Outside of the room was a washer and dryer, and it was just more, I say, away from the other two rooms, so you really had your privacy, and it was just a really nice sized room. We also had our own bathroom and our own walk-in closet. So what happened was, when I first moved in, I met my other roommate, my other suite mates. They all seemed nice. I remember actually going out with one girl and two girls from downstairs, and we all went to, like, where did we go? It was it's called the Clubhouse, but basically it was like they had little restaurants and pool hall and things like that inside of it for the East Campus people. So we went over there, we hung out for a little, and I remember thinking, you know, they're cool people or whatever. But I do remember my suite mate, the girl, she was like talking down about some other people who were walking by or something random, and I was just like, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way or whatever, but I didn't really like let it affect our relationship. I was just like, you know, something like, you just know, you register, she's a little off or she's a little uppity, but you just don't let it show that, you know, it bothered you. So moving on, I don't remember us talking that much in the beginning. I do remember having like prayer meetings and things like that, because Tuesday nights you'd have to have prayer meetings. There'd be curfews at midnight, but I do remember like prayer meetings, and you know, she'd be there and it'd be like whatever. But I do remember starting in like October, it was like I noticed there was some things that were being taken from me. Like, okay, so I love milk, and this is really random, but I would literally, like, if I go to a restaurant, I'll have milk before I have anything else. And just because, I don't know, I like it. So I would usually buy like a gallon of milk. So it was to the point where I would put the milk in the fridge, and I'd come back like the next day and it would be like half a gallon. And it'd be like, what is going on? Literally, I'd buy a gallon, it'd be half a gallon. So I'd be like, you know, maybe it's just me. So I took a black Sharpie, and I remember after I drank it one time, I marked it like really where I put it, and literally the next day it was like half of that was gone. So if I marked it here, it was here, and there's the bottom. And I'm like, okay, so I know I bought this for myself, but I don't know what's going on. And then on top of it, my roommate, my suite mate, she had made cookies one time, and she came back and like half the cookies were gone, and I remember seeing my other suite mate eating them, and she had told me that that same suite mate was the one who was drinking my milk. So automatically I'm like, this girl is like freaking Santa Claus. She's eating everyone's cookies and drinking their milk, like she's crazy. So everyone dubbed her, like, I said it and everyone was like, okay, she's Santa Claus. Like, everyone called her Santa Claus, not to her face or anything, but because she was taking everyone's stuff, we called her Santa Claus. Or taking everyone's milk and cookies and things, so we called her Santa Claus. And I also remember it wasn't even like it was my stuff. In the next dorm over, which actually both of my RAs lived in, she had actually came in there, if that makes any sense. She came because her friends lived where the RAs lived, because there's other rooms in there. So she went over there with her roommates, and she brought the RA's pots and pans back to our place, cooked, left everything out, so it was dirty and everything. The RAs were looking for their pots and pans for a couple weeks till they found out it was taken, and I don't think anything happened from it, but I remember the people in the other rooms like really getting annoyed with her. They're like, yeah, her friends and her are always coming in, and they're slamming doors, they're taking things. It was just like, she wasn't even just bothering our little room, it was like her friends and her were bothering her friends' suite, if that makes sense too. But anyways, it was just like, whatever, you know, just don't take my stuff, but I'm not going to confront you over it because milk is not that serious to me. So, but I just knew, like, okay, if I'm going to buy it, I'm buying it for her and me, in other words. Also, I remember it was starting to get colder. It was around November. It was starting to get colder. And so we would turn on the heat, and we wouldn't put it even on high. We'd have it on like 72, and we'd come back, and the AC would be on, and the AC would be on like 69. And we were like, what is this girl doing? Like, what is wrong with her? I remember we'd always be like, isn't it cold in here? You know, but for some reason, and mind you, most of the time when she'd come in, she'd slam the door, turn on the AC, so you see her turning it on and go in her room. We're like, what is she doing? Like, we're all sitting in the living room. She wouldn't even acknowledge anyone. When you come in, like if we all be sitting in the living room, mind you, me and the room B, like we're room C, there's A, B, and C. She was in room A with her roommate, and her roommate was never really there because she was a junior, she was doing her own thing. But she was room A, and room B and C, which is my room, we got along really great. We'd always be having sleepovers. We'd always be like hanging out. So if we were hanging out in the living room, she'd come in, slam the door in front of us, turn off the AC, turn off the heat, turn to AC, and go in her room. She wouldn't acknowledge anyone. She would just like straight up ignore you. And we were like, okay, this girl has problems. But you know, we'd be nice. Like if she came out, we'd try to say hi, try to communicate with her, but she just wasn't having it. And we were like, okay, obviously this girl has problems. Then not only that, I was in room C, so right out of room C was the washer and the dryer. And it would get to the point where if me and the other girls, like say I washed a load, and if I did, like say I washed a load, I went to class, I come back, my load of clothes that were still wet, instead of putting them into the dryer, they'd be on top of the dryer. And their load would be in the washer. It's like, why couldn't you just move it from the washer to the dryer, you know? Because then I'm gonna have to wash my clothes all over again because you put it on top of it. Like you didn't, I don't know, it didn't make any sense. And they would always continually do that, to the point where it would be so annoying because you'd have like wet clothes sitting out instead of going into the dryer. Like it's a cycle, you know, you just switch it and move it to the next one. If you see the other person's stuff is done and they haven't moved it yet, then you just move it for them, but you don't move it on top of the washer. So anyways, it was annoying my room and room B, to the point where I put up a sign and was like, if you want to use the washer and there are clothes in it, please just move it to the dryer. Or if there are clothes in the dryer, just put it on top. Like, you know, just put it in a circle. And most of the time, it wasn't even like people would leave it overnight. Like it would just be like people would run to class, and by the time they got back from class, their clothes were already out on top. It wasn't even like they were out there overnight or anything crazy like that. So this is where the drama really started, and I'll never forget this. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I just like I had to say, don't judge me, but I really went off. Okay, so anyways, I'll never forget this. The night before, there was clothes in the dryer, and I had put my clothes in the washer, and I was like, okay, so hopefully by the morning the clothes in the dryer will be gone, so I can move them and move it down the line. So the next morning I wake up and I hear someone out there inside the washer and laundry little room or whatever, and I'm like, oh, maybe they're getting their clothes out of the dryer and I can move mine into the washer. I open the door and there is Santa Claus. And not only is she's moving clothes all right, but she's not moving the clothes from the dryer. She's moving the clothes, my clothes that are in the washer, and she's moving them to the floor. Not on top of the dryer, to the floor. And I'm standing right there, and I look at her, and it took me a second to register, like, no, this chick ain't trying me. So I go really nicely, because me, I'm a nice person. Like, if you try me, I will give you a chance. I will actually let you have a chance. Maybe, you know, maybe you bumped your head and you don't know what's going on. So I go over there and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm going to wash my clothes. I'm like, okay, well, this is what you do if you're going to wash your clothes. And I go over to my clothes. I said, what you do is, I actually open the dryer. I said, you take the clothes that are out of the dryer, you put it on top of the dryer, and then you take the clothes that are out of the washer, and then you put them into the washer. And then you can wash. Mind you, I'm starting to take the clothes out of the dryer, trying to show her how to do it, right? She has the nerve to go to me, please don't touch my roommate's expensive clothes. I was like, it literally took me a minute to register, like, no, she didn't say that. Let me tell you what I did. I dropped everything. I was like, I started cursing, I started yelling, I started screaming at the top of my lungs. And I think I scared that girl, because mind you, I've never done that in my life to like anyone in that school. Like, I was always so sweet, so calm, you know. I never was like trying to do that. So anyways, I started cursing her out, and I was like, somebody better get this girl. And she got scared. She literally ran into her room and closed the door. And I went into my room. Mind you, I left, my room is right next to the washer, so I have my door open. I'm still screaming, cursing, everything. I call my friend because she's literally downstairs. I was like, you better come up here because it's about to go down, you know? So she comes up and she's like trying to calm me down, and I'm like, this girl's crazy, she don't know me, you know, all this stuff. So then what happened was my friend, I think she had went and got the RAs or something because I was not calming down for anything. So then the RAs came in and I explained the situation to them, and by then I think the girl had left because she was scared. I remember she was just scared. Like, she was just like, this girl's crazy. And so she had left. I explained to the RAs, and she's like, well, when she comes back, we're going to have a room meeting and we're going to figure this out. And I'm like, you don't need to have a room meeting. You just need to get her up out of here because she about to get hurt. So when she came back, it was like 9. I remember it was really late. And the RAs had came over and they were like, can we talk to you? They went up to Santa Claus. They were like, can we talk to you and Kym? And she was like, okay. So we all sat down in the living room. And the RAs were like, can you explain what happened? And the girl, Santa Claus, was like, oh, I was just trying to wash my clothes and they were in there, so I figured I'd move them to the floor and blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at her like, this girl crazy. Like, you know, like, you don't move nobody's clothes to the floor. And so the RAs were like, well, can we just like apologize, Santa Claus, and maybe you guys can, you know, just become friends again? And I was like, wait, hold up. And everyone looked at me. I was like, hold up, hold up. I said, here's the thing. We were never friends, and we're never going to be friends. I said, this girl's crazy, and I don't want to associate myself with her. And I was like, I said, you don't touch nobody's stuff. She's forever taking everybody's stuff. I don't deal with that. You know, you got the wrong girl. So, and mind you, the girl was like, well, you know, technically, Santa Claus had the nerve to say this. Santa Claus was like, well, technically, my parents can actually sue you. I was like, for what? For cursing you out? And then the girl, Santa Claus, was like, yeah, but it's not in the Liberty Way. You're not supposed to curse because in our school, it's a Christian school, you're not supposed to curse. I said, honey, this is America. It's called freedom of speech. And she was all quiet and everything. She's like, I can't believe this. I can't, like, I remember she said something like, I can't deal with her. And I was like, yeah, I can't deal with you either. And so the RAs were like, look, can we just agree to disagree and just have it where you guys have separate washing days? I'm like, yeah, because she's not going to be touching my stuff again. That's not going down, you know? And so they're like, mind you, they're all like, this has never happened before. Kym is really serious, so we're gonna make sure this goes down the way Kym wants it to. So they were just like, okay, well, fine, this is how we're gonna do it. You know, everyone has their own washing days, and if you want to wash on someone else's days, you ask. So basically that really settled it for them. I just remember I did not speak to her at all. Like, when I saw her, it was like I was looking past her. Like, she did not faze me. I was not trying to associate myself with her. I wasn't saying hi, bye, nada, nothing. So that was it with her until the spring. That was all the way in the fall semester. Spring semester comes around, my birthday, February 13th. I was dating my husband then, and I remember we went to PetSmart. And I had really wanted a hamster. I had a hamster when I was in high school and it passed away. And I saw a hamster and I was just like, babe, I really want this hamster, you know. I just have to get this hamster. And he's like, but you know, we're really not supposed to have one. We're all in college dorms. Like, what are you going to do with a hamster? I'm like, and mind you, at Liberty, what they did is they have convocation every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday where everyone has to come and meet. And so, while everyone's going down there to meet, all the RAs would go and check everyone's room because it had to be like clean. Your bed had to be made, everything, or else you would get a reprimand. And if you got after a certain amount, you would have to pay. So anyways, I was like, it's cool. I know where to hide it. You know, the hamsters sleep during the day anyway. So by the time they're checking, it's 10 in the morning. The hamster has, you know, run off his little energy and he's good. He'll be asleep. So anyways, my husband bought it. And back then he was my boyfriend. He bought it and I brought it to my dorm room and it was so cute. It was this little thing. But anyways, the girls in room B knew about it, and somehow I think the girls in room B told the other roommate, and somehow the Santa Claus heard about it too, so she knew about it. And I would hide it. Basically what I would do is, it was inside its little cage. I would put the cage in the closet at the top of my closet, so when they came in they never heard it or anything because it was sleeping by then. So this girl, the same time this girl decides to go out and get a rabbit. How you gonna hide a damn rabbit? So anyways, this girl gets a rabbit, and this idiot, mind you, I kept my hamster in my room. Never once did I take that hamster outside of my room for anyone to see. This girl has a rabbit, has it in her room, all the things going good. A week later, after she gets it, she decides the room isn't big enough for the rabbit. During the day, she would have this rabbit outside in the living room, in the kitchen, running around. You see little poop pellets. It would be so annoying because it would be like, can you clean up your rabbit's crap? Like, it's all over the floor. It's disgusting. And mind you, our RAs can come in and go whenever they please. So they decided to come in one day. I don't know why they were coming in, but they came into our apartment one day, and literally they met the rabbit at the door. There's the rabbit. And they asked her, they were like, whose is this? And she's like, oh, it's mine. They're like, well, you know, you're really not supposed to have pets here. And instead of saying, oh, okay, you know what, I'll take care of it, she was like, well, Kym has a hamster. Like, they didn't ask for me, they didn't mention me, but this girl wants to bring up my name. So they knocked on my door, and they were like, yeah, Santa Claus told us that, well, they didn't say her name, but, you know, Santa Claus told us that you had a hamster. And I'm like, yeah. I said, and then they were like, well, how long ago have you got it? So then I told them, I was like, yeah, I had the hamster, but I just had it for like a week. I said, my sister plans on picking it up, so don't worry, it won't be here any longer. And so basically what I had to do was, my parents had to come down, mind you, this is Virginia. They had to come down all the way from Jersey to pick up this hamster, just so my sister can take it back, because it stayed at my house until after school ended. But it was just really aggravating because it was like no one even, you know, had to bring it up. Like, if they had found out about my hamster, I would never have been like, oh yeah, and she has a bunny. No, that's your situation, you know, but of course Santa Claus had to be a little that day. So of course, you know, that's how they found out. But basically, I think that was really all that happened with her. I know there was some few other stuff I'm probably mentioning, but she was just so crazy. And I think it helped it helped second semester because my roommate that was in my room had actually left. She went to, where did she go? She went to Disney World on an internship or something like that. So I had that whole room, bathroom, closet to myself. So my friend from downstairs, she practically lived in my room for the second semester. So she knew me and her, you weren't messing with both of us. So that's when she really calmed down. But yeah, that's about it. That was definitely like my horror story with my roommate. Like, that's probably the only really horror story. Well, sophomore year, I do have like a fake friend story. So if you guys are interested in hearing about that one, because that one's crazy too. But if you guys are interested in hearing about that, definitely put it below. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know if you'd like to see more story time videos. I definitely have a lot more stories, especially like crazy experiences that I think would be really funny to tell. So yeah, thanks guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.